បាទសូមគោរពជំរាបសួរទៅដល់ជនរួមជាតិក៏ដូចជាប្រិយមិត្តក្នុងនិងក្រៅប្រទេសសូមគោរពជំរាបសួរលោកយាយលោកតាពុកម៉ែពូមីងបងប្អូននៅសហគមន៍ខ្មែរនៅទីក្រុង Long Beach រដ្ឋ California ហើយសូមស្វាគមន៍មកដល់កម្មវិធី Reading Club ដែលយើងផ្សាយចេញពីទីក្រុង Long Beach រដ្ឋ California បាទអញ្ចឹងមកដល់ថ្ងៃនេះក្រុមអ្នកអានរបស់យើងអានសៀវភៅ Khmer Rise ឬក៏ Subtitle ហៅថា How I Escaped a Genocide បានមកដល់ជំពូកទី12បាទអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមអនុញ្ញាតដើម្បីចាប់ផ្ដើមក្រុមអ្នកអានជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសដោយសារសៀវភៅយើងនេះយើងអានតែជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសទេអញ្ចឹងសូមសួស្តីលោកកូវីតហៅលោកកូវីត
បាទសួស្តីជម្រាបសួរ
អ្នកបាទសួស្តីបាទទី1លោកកូវីតហើយទី2 Kerry បាទជម្រាបសួរ Kerry
ជម្រាបសួរ everyone
បាទទី4ជម្រាបសួរ Gloria
ជម្រាបសួរ
បាទហើយយើងក៏មានអ្នកនិពន្ធរបស់យើងគឺលោកពូ Patrick កែវលោកតែងតែចំណាយពេលវេលាដើម្បីមកចូលរួមក្នុងកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងហើយលោកត្រៀមខ្លួនជាស្រេចដើម្បីបកស្រាយក៏ដូចជាស្រាយនៅចម្ងល់ឬក៏សំណួរផ្សេងៗដែលមានការចោទសួរពីក្រុមអ្នកអានរបស់យើងហើយក៏យើងសូមស្វាគមន៍ផងដែរបើសិនប្រិយមិត្តអ្នកអានអ្នកទស្សនារបស់យើងនឹងមានសំណួរអីចង់សួរយើងសូមស្វាគមន៍ Okay, so now Lukovic, the floor is yours.
Yes.
And then we can start.
Yes, thank you everyone that are out there watching. Tonight we're going to read chapter 12 and we're going to start off with Miss Gloria. Thank you.
Chapter 12, Forced Labor Camp. By this time, the commune system of living was in full swing in Cambodia. You go to work in the fields and come back to the commune kitchen for your food rations. You eat what is given. The cook scooped out some porridge, put it in your bowl, and off you went with 30 minutes to eat your meal. In return, you're required to give all your devotion, all your time, and all your energy to Angka. If you didn't produce, you were a burden, and you were worthless. There's no gain to keep you. If you were perceived to be a problem, there would be no lost thing of value to take you away and kill you. With this thinking, Khmer Rouge's slogan was introduced to describe why they killed. No gain to keep, no lose to kill. No one knew the origin of the slogan. For new people, it was hard to understand the concept, and that was the reality of working conditions during the Khmer Rouge era. They used the slogan to kill without remorse and called it fair game. The first 20 days of servile slavery marked the beginning of more hard labor to come, and the killing continued. Khmer Rouge violence had destroyed the Cambodian culture and tradition, and the inspiration for good deeds and hope existed only in the minds of Nuon Chea, brother number 2, and Kiev Sampan, Pol Pot's figurehead of DK. After the completion of the servile harvest, we expected to return to Pretkop, but we were told that Angkar was our family. When Angkar said go, we went, not knowing where. Everything went exactly as Pol Pot had planned. He forced the entire society into slavery patterns with inadequate food and shelter. We were told to produce. If you didn't, you were worthless. When you're worthless, it is fair game to kill you. If you speak out against Angkar, you are the enemy, and you're to be destroyed. It was fair game. The end justified the means. This was Khmer Rouge's plan to ensure productivity. In this context, we lost Paula. Other teams lost a few more. This was the beginning of more deaths to come. Imagine an entire society living under a constant state of fear. For many of us, the thought of dying a horrible death was unbearable. The next assignment was digging ditches, moving tons of dirt for dams with food rations equivalent to 5 cents a day. C1 Forced Labor Camp in Kampong Cham, Cambodia. As part of the massive agrarian infrastructure that Angkar planned for the country, this was one of the largest labor camps the world had ever seen. It was directly supervised by Khmer Rouge cadres. Our team leader was no longer Mit Phuan. The new leader was Mit Keng, a Khmer Rouge child soldier. Keng means bravery in Cambodian. At the age of 16, his eyes beamed like those of a tiger. If looks could kill, his eyes could do it. Although close to my age, his idea of fun was counting the dead. A 5 cubic meter dam per person per day was the quota that everyone had to build. He meant business and carried an AK-47 to prove it. He meant what he said, and he wasn't joking.
Thank you, Gloria. I paired up with Tara, who was 18 years old. The idea was to make tool available and never to look idle. This way we could gain speed, so I dug ditches while Tara carried dirt to build a dam, 10 cubic meters for two. From sunrise to sunset, we alternate whenever possible. Everywhere you went, misery followed. People carried baskets full of dirt and moved like red ants of Amazon jungles. Kerry and I complete the quota daily while many could not. Not meeting the Khmer Rouge goal was a serious offense, often met with death. When you did not do what you were told, you were considered rebellious, though you were the enemy, and the enemy was to destroy. Complete. Quote, the word destroy is the direct translation from the Khmer Rouge, complete. What it fit into the slogan that said, no game to keep, no loss to kill. So they killed without remorse. The painting here could stop you cold. It is impossible to understand Pol Pot Angkor logic, and it was the reality of Pol Pot communist regime as I saw it. Among 1,000 laborers, nearly 200 died from overwork, starvation, and execution. We were required to blindly devote our souls to Angkor, and we have all become deaf and dumb. We lived and worked in a constant state of fear while food rations were nowhere near adequate. Luck was on my side. My palate could tolerate cricket, snail, and snakes. These foods were not my choice, but eatable and necessary to sustain myself. Our team was intact except for one. Most were thinner than when we came to this work camp. Food rations were getting smaller and smaller in spite of the bumpy harvest. Sam did not make it. He was so unnutritious. He stole a tree of sugar cane. For that, he was considered an enemy, and controversy is death. In Sam's case, he stole and got caught. His life was worth less than the stick of a sugar cane. For the most part, other team lost people in greater number than Team Preco. Because we did so well, we were reassigned to a new work camp. This time it was the rubber plantation of Bang Ket, 150 kilometers northeast of Phnom Penh. Bekat was located in Kampong Cham Providence, a famous place known during the French colony of great rubber plant production with millions of hectares of red soil, known for the best horticultural land. During Khmer Rouge, Bekat was a gateway to outsiders with a port on the Mekong River. Bekat was used to export millions of blocks of rubber. In return, import of AK-47 Chinese-made truck, bicycle, and black clothing have been seen for days. We moved mounting of rubber blocks that were left behind by pre-Khmer Rouge businesses. Fully loaded Chinese-made trucks have reached Bekat Port daily. Working conditions were hell on earth, to say the least. The rotten egg-like smell was so bad. The state-of-the-art plan was to load each 10-ton truck as quickly as possible. We worked on them so much, we went nose blind.
Thank you, Viith. From Bang Ket Port, we loaded tons of mill rice and medicine into trucks and headed for Khmer Rouge headquarters at Bat Tats, that was located in the deep north of Kampong Cham rubber plantations. It was a Khmer Rouge stronghold during the Pol Pot Revolution. The imported items were further distributed to other Khmer Rouge regions. Food rations were considered relatively adequate. We were able to maintain full stomachs at every meal. 2 meals of cooked rice per day were considered better than most rations in exchange for toxic working conditions. The team got sick so much Life was dangerously hanging by a thread. Without proper medical care, I was a day away from death. Ironically, one of the Khmer Rouge truck drivers was a classmate of mine from middle school. His name was Sam Nang. Sam Nang means lucky in Khmer language. I used to sneak food out for him during school days. His home was too far to walk back for lunch. He packed food for lunch for school, but it was never enough. We became the best of friends during childhood. Became 19-year-old Khmer Rouge with skills as a truck driver, one of the best jobs during the Khmer Rouge era. 1 year older than I, he remembered every single good thing we spent riding my bike, the highlight of his childhood. He knew that I needed medical attention. He took me to Bangkok Medical Center for treatment. This was a huge mistake on his part, helping on Angar's enemy in hiding. There, I was seen by a young nurse, Mit Phia. Phia means beautiful in Cambodian. She might have not remembered me, but I remember her well. We spent lots of time playing tic-tac-toe during recesses, but she must have had some kind of clout to be able to work in shade. Inside some sort of building, she recognized me when Samnang brought me in. Now that my identity was revealed, I was not so sure if this was a good idea to come here. As I was fearful for my life, I had second thoughts. It was not uncommon for friends to turn into killers, Khmer Rouge style, but my life was out of my hands at this point. I could die a few days without medical treatment, or die later when Mitfia or Samnang turned me in. When I stopped breathing, Mitfia went into panic mode, trying to revive my breathing by pumping my chest by hand. I was brought to the emergency room for rare treatment. Most would have left me to die in a corner someplace. But Mitfia called for assistance while continuing to pump my chest. Somehow she got enough weight to help get me the help I needed. From a different room, Mit Van, a fifth-year medical school student, came to the room. He gave me an injection of some sort of penicillin, a French-made medicine for antibiotic, or at least that was what I was told. It was a rare commodity during Khmer Rouge. For me, it was a miracle that somehow the medicine seemed to work, or maybe I just needed a break from the toxic conditions. But when I opened my eyes, I found that Mitfia had remained at my side and related that I was out of danger. Mitfan diagnosed that I was allergic to the bad smell. I was allowed to stay at Bangkok Medical Center for a few days rest and stay for 3 days in Bangkok Hospital was very long for me. The thought of dying a horrible death was a nightmare by itself. Late afternoon had turned to early evening. People say that the rivers flow in one direction, but that's not true in Cambodia. The Mekong flow into the Great Lake of Tonle Sap, expanding across the plain during the rainy season. It reverses its flow to the sea during summer, making Tonle Sap a unique river, flowing in both directions, north and south. Next to me, a younger boy lay dying in his bed. His moans were fading with each breath. I walked over to him and prayed for his life. As I whispered a prayer to him, he breathed his last. I lifted his arms and put his palms together and rested dumb on his chest. He died alone. I could be no different. At any time, I could be taken away and die a horrible death. No one in my family know where I was.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank God, Samnang and Mitphia kept my identities to themselves. For Khmer Rouge, second chance were hard to come by. I was glad to be alive in the eyes of the Khmer Rouge. I continues to be made part of Prekok, who read the upside down for now. Bangkok was one of the Khmer Rouge's strongholds during the Pol Pot revolution before 1970. The region seemed to be organized and less violent. Food rations were better than most. We could trap wild pig with the heart with homemade bamboo, a spear, and arrows. We were successfully enough at it to make food rations bearable. The 2 months assignment turned to 6, then I lost count. By then we got used to rotten rubber smell. Team Breakcock continues to work at Bunkhead Rubber Plantation. I was assigned to Bunkhead Port, loading tons of rubbers onto ships. During that time, 2 women's mobile teams came to Bunkhead Port. Most were fair complexion, but spoke fluent Cambodian. They came from Eastern Zone, Khmer district across the Mekong River. Most were a teenager or in their early 20s. Kampong Cham Town was a small world for former students who pursue higher education. Chance they would be attending Kampong Cham High School. Almost everyone knew each other. Among the 24 women's teams, 2 of them were in my grade. We knew one another well. I was an active student, commando, top soccer player, and trained taekwondo. I would be in grave danger if the Khmerus knew. During work at Bunkhead, we crossed paths. I helped her crew build their living quarters. We made a pact not to reveal each other through identities. My concern was Soper. She was the daughter of an army captain. She was quite attractive, a trait of a high society, a bourgeoisie. If she got caught, I could be in trouble by association. However, the girls seemed to adapt to a peasant lifestyle well. They work hard under the hot sun and never complain. That was what the Khmerus wanted. The girls kept their words, and I kept mine. At the end of the assignments, I returned to Prekop, and the girl returned to their home base village. By this time, 1977 was the approaching almost 2 years into the Pol Pot regime. Working conditions became more demanding, while food rations became harder to come by. Upon re-entry to Prekop, I was reassigned to clear a forest at Phnom Tut, a small mountain. It was about a full day's jungle walk from Prekop. There a new work camp was established where malaria and a disease were common. Phnom Toj contained rice fields by hundreds of hectares, if not thousands. New people and local villagers worked together in the field and returned to a base camp for food at a commune kitchen cooked by selective few. Food rationing was a struggle for the camp chef. During the traveling through millions of hectares at Bunkhead rubber plantations, I came across many fields with an abundance of food sources such as the cassava, roots, and banana. So I volunteered to deliver daily collude if permitted. I was allowed to do some trial runs. My first trip was a cart full of rambutan fruits, samu in Khmer language. The chief was not pleased, but the laborers seemed to like them something different. The next day, I returned with a cartload of Tapico rose with the chief kept us smiling all day. Now he could feed his laborers. The following day it was bananas, then sweet potatoes, then corns, jackfruit, and vegetables. I knew that I could deliver. The work was relatively ideal for me. I was able to stay away from base camp, avoiding face-to-face meeting with Khmer's cadres. It was my ways of staying alive. By this time, all theory travelers were presumed to be fit for counter-revolutions and branded as the enemies to the communist state. Traveling from such work was no longer fitting for a new people. I was relocated to a new work camp at Phnom Penh, one of the hardest camps known to a man. With the Khmer's camp nearby, our cadres were ready and willing to kill at any given moment. Thank you. So
Good.
please.
Thank you, everyone. Good reading.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, that's it's very good information in there. It's very, very that is the cause of you know, the heart of the Khmer Rouge regime right there. That chapters. It painting a lot of you know, a lot of, you know, idealistic during the Khmer Rouge. Yeah. So yeah, you have any questions? Let's go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Gloria.
I do have a question about, I know a lot of people knew, like had family or friends that ended up joining the Khmer Rouge. And after the Khmer Rouge fell, I don't know if you would know exactly because you were able to come to America, but how did people reintegrate? Is there a lot of anger there? Is there a lot of hate still towards each other, or were they able to forgive?
You mean in Cambodia after
In
the Khmer Rouge
Cambodia,
fell?
and
Yeah.
even if some Khmer Rouge came to America, I don't know if some were able to make it to America, but how is that relationship? Like, is there a lot of anger still between people, or did they reintegrate and just move past it? How is that working out?
Initially, there's a lot of killing after the Khmer Rouge fall. You know, I witnessed a lot of floating body, you know, in the Mekong River. You know, it's a lot of them. And but right now, I think they still have, you know, the feeling, the bad feeling. They're not still not happy, but not much that you can do because right now they're trying to integrate it, the Khmer Rouge and the people, the victim and the, you know, perpetrator live side by side together. And they have to make do with that because the government, current government right now, they integrated also the Khmer Rouge, the foremost Khmer Rouge, with the, you know, as part of the Cambodian army in the attempt to make peace in the country. So yeah, in the beginning they have a lot of resentment and, you know, revenge and all that. But right now, I guess they have to do what they need to do to make peace, living in peace, I guess. Is that a answer your question?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Give some insight.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well, Agu, my thing is, how are they capable of recruiting like the young children, and what age do they let them hold the AK-47? I mean, they're so young, and I held an AK-47. That thing had light.
Yeah.
So
from what I understand is, yeah, they're recruiting. They may not have them carry gun like that, but they recruit at a young age, even 10 years old, you know, you not, I mean, it's not a volunteer recruiting. So you just, they just, okay, you have a son or daughter this age. During that time, I mean, pre 1975, you live under the Khmer's supervision. So they just pick and choose what they want, and they train you from the small, and you're not allowed to carry gun until you like 14 or maybe 16, uh, that from that on, and then you initiative, go to combat, small combat, until you feel brave enough. And they also have a doctrine. They kind of they put a lot of teach you, that Angka is the father and the parent of you. So you do whatever you need to do to on the side of Angka. And when you're that age, you go wherever they tell you to go. Yeah, they recruit from small. It's by force. I will believe, not by choice. Yeah. Okay, Kerry.
I don't
A
still
lot
have
of
a
good
question.
question there. A lot of good question. A lot of good stuff, especially in the camp and in the, in the.
Well, I guess since you worked at both different location, the dam and the rubber plantation, which one would you say is the worst?
The rubber plantation, the working condition is the worst, but the food ration is better. Put it this way. And the dam is still harsh, but you work 10, 12 hours a day to finish your, like me, I had two, Tira, that's a guy that we somehow clicked during that, that mobile team. So we kind of together. So to be alive, we talk to each other that we had to do our best to finish the quota. No matter what, we're going to hope each other to finish it, because if you don't, the chance are we might not survive, So, and we, at the time, we're strong enough, and I'm the one who be able to find a lot of extra food because my skill of hunting is better than Tira, But he's older than I do. He bigger. His physique is much bigger than I do, and but I'm good at finding extra food. So I make sure that we share, that I have, make sure that he have enough food, same as I do, so that we can, do whatever we need to do so that, we can stay alive. So he and I like a brothers, during the Khmer, during that time, so yeah. Yeah, it's rubber plantation and one of the harsh place that I work. Plus, not just that, I got sick. I almost died there. Some Nang, who is almost my classmate in the middle school. He still remember me. I try not to associate with him because I knew it's a bad news, right? But then he recognized me, and he come and talk to me, and he kind of feel appreciative what I did for him during, before the Khmer Rouge. So he helped me out in that sense, But during the hospital stay, I just feel that I could be dead at any time, So yeah.
Okay, Lepu, in connection to this, over the 3 years, 8 months, 20 days, how often did you get sick, and when is your when you were in serious sick?
Yeah, that is the worst, I got during that time. I had got sick many times, but mostly less, malaria. You get chill, you get sick, and then later on it go away and you come back, right? It's not like this one. This one I could die because of poison. From what I was told is a I breathe toxic into my blood stream, in my blood, and that French medicine helped me, because when he injected, it's an antibiotic, it would kill whatever is in my blood, and those medicine is only for Kama people only, because of mid peer as friend of mine during school, and we at the recess we play with each other a lot, and I was also very popular during the school year, so she'd be able to help me out, during that time, and the guy who was fifth year medical school, also a friend of her. I think they'd only get married. I didn't know for sure, but later on I kind of heard from the wife that they get married.
Okay, thank you, Lupu. Welcome, Michaela.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Question?
Okay, so Michaela, I hope you already gone through the book. So this is the opportunity for you. If you have any question or you need any clarification,
chapter
please.
12. Yeah.
The floor is yours. Yeah, on chapter 12.
Okay. Let me think.
Can I ask one Khmer question, Lupu?
Sure.
Yeah, because while we are waiting for Michaela, Lupu បាននិយាយក្នុងរឿងនេះមានមិត្តភ័ក្ដិលពុម្នាក់ដែលជាកូនឧត្តមសេនីយ៍ជាកូនគេ captain ហ្នឹងបានមេបញ្ជាការជាឋានៈជាឧត្តមសេនីយ៍តើគាត់អាចនៅរស់រៀនមកហ្នឹងបានន័យថាគ្រួសារគាត់មកជាមួយដែរក៏មកតែគាត់ទេលោកលពុ
ចង់និយាយថានៅកន្លែងណានៅកន្លែង
ដែលមិត្តភ័ក្ដិលោកគ្រូលពុដែលជាកូនឧត្តមសេនីយ៍ហ្នឹងហើយគាត់សម្រាប់ខ្លួនដែលគាត់ជាសម្រាប់ខ្លួនទៅនឹងស្ថានភាពជាក់ស្ដែងហ្នឹងតែគាត់ជាកូនឧត្តមសេនីយ៍តើពេលហ្នឹងគាត់មកជាលក្ខណៈទាំងគ្រួសារហើយក៏មកតែគាត់ទេលោកគ្រូពេលហ្នឹង
No អ្នកឯងពួកគាត់បានអាសាញឲ្យទៅជា mobile team ដូចខ្ញុំដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំខាងបរោះគាត់ខាងនារីអញ្ចឹងណាគាត់ឆ្លងពីក្រូចឆ្មាពីទល់មុខបឹងកេនឹងមកគាត់មកក្រុមគាត់ពីរក្រុម24នាក់គេឲ្យមកធ្វើការនៅកន្លែងខ្ញុំធ្វើការនៅកំពង់ផែហ្នឹងណាហើយពួកគាត់នឹងហើយពួកគាត់ធ្វើការនៅផែហ្នឹងហើយកំពង់ផែខ្ញុំក៏ធ្វើការនៅផែហ្នឹងដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំមកពីខាងខ្ញុំជាអ្នកដឹកជ័រអីចឹងហើយពួកគាត់ជាអ្នកនៅនឹងដែរសម្រាប់រាប់ count record ដូចជាកភ្លើងអីចេញចូលយកចេញពីទូកចេញពីអីអង្គអីយកចេញមកមេថ្នាំពេទ្យថ្នាំអីយកចេញពីទូកមកពួកគាត់នឹងអ្នកធ្វើនៅនឹងពួកនារីហ្នឹងណាគេ24នាក់ហ្នឹងគេធ្វើការនៅហ្នឹងដូច្នេះគាត់ក្នុងពេលហ្នឹងគាត់ជាហៅកងនារីកងទ័ពមានកងទ័ពចល័តពួកចល័តខាងនារីហើយចំណែកខ្ញុំខាងបរោះប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំ happen to work នៅនឹងជំរុំនៅនឹង camp ដូចគ្នាហ្នឹងហើយគាត់ជារៀនសាលាជាមួយគ្នាថ្នាក់ជីមចប់មួយគ្នាហ្នឹងណាហ្នឹងហើយគាត់ខំប្រឹងប្រែងធ្វើការខ្លាំងណាស់ខ្ញុំឃើញគាត់ខ្លួនគាត់អីហ្នឹងគាត់សំធម្មតាយើងសាច់សអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវថ្ងៃទៀតក៏វាមិន มันขมาเลยได้โดยខ្ញុំ ត្រូវថ្ងៃតែតិចគឺ brown tan មកហើយគាត់អត់សូវ tan ទេហើយដល់មួយថ្ងៃពីរថ្ងៃទៀតទៅគាត់សាច់គាត់តែនៅក្នុងលុបដល់មួយថ្ងៃពីរថ្ងៃហ្នឹងសាច់គាត់ឡើងសវិញទៀតអញ្ចឹងណាហើយកូនគេអ្នកមាននោះ you know ហើយនឹងហើយគាត់ម្នាក់ឯងនៅពេលហ្នឹងម្នាក់ឯងដូចគ្នា
Yeah, Lupu, you know, when I read through this chapter, it remind me one of the Khmer saying that friend in need is a friend indeed. So it like a reflection what you did a good deed for him, and now he did a good deed for you. This is that is the very powerful for me to reflect to the Khmer saying a friend in need is a friend indeed. So
you mean សំណាង you mean សំណាង
so my question is they are still alive or they already went to somewhere?
សំណាង I don't know when I left plantation, rubber plantation, we got disconnected. I never saw him. He never see me again. I don't know whether he's still alive or not. But sound like from what I can tell, he may be still alive because he not a full core Khmer Rouge. He's a truck driver, so he not go to combat and kill people like that. He's just a truck driver. When they want him to drive, he drive because that truck is like like belong to him. So he taking care of it, the engine, the all that, and he seemed to be very good at it, so we happen to be clicked when during the school years, when middle school. At the time I see we was like in 7th grade, and he's about it. That his last time, is his last schooling, and he's a poor family and he doesn't have enough food to eat. I pack him, to back to his home. Once in a while I go pick him up and we driving around the village, so we become connected. So that's why during the Khmer Rouge, I don't even tell him that I get sick, but he knew it. He asked it. He said, "What happened to me? I never come to work a few days." So then people say that, oh, he gets sick and all that, and then he come to my camps, my hut, and then he found out I almost died already. So he took me right away. That hospital is a Kama Pibal, all high-ranking Khmer Rouge as you go to that hospital. So he'd be able to sneak me in.
Lupu, I think this point is very important. So could I elaborate a little bit in Khmer before I give the floor to Mekela? បាទចំណុចនេះអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំសួរលោកពូ Patrick កែវដែលគាត់ជាអ្នកនិពន្ធសៀវភៅខ្មែររាយផ្ទាល់ហើយលោកបានឆ្លងកាត់នៅរបបហ្នឹងហើយជាពិសេសនៅជំពូកទី12ហ្នឹងគាត់បានលើកឡើងពីមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់គាត់មួយឈ្មោះសំណាងបាទមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់គាត់ឈ្មោះសំណាងហ្នឹងកាលអត់ទាន់បាយអាពតគាត់បានន័យថាជាអ្នកដែលជាមិនមានជីវភាពជាទូធាតុដែរហើយពេលដែលទៅសាលាមានវិចបាយវិចអីទៅញ៉ាំអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយលោកពូតែងតែចែករំលែកបាយទឹកអីបានជីកង់ជីអីជាមួយគ្នាមានអនុស្សាវរីយ៍អីជាមួយគ្នាបានថាលោកពូគាត់មានការជឿឆ្អាលជួយអ្នកដែលមានគេហៅថាភាពលំបាកអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលស្រុកកឡប់ចាក់ពេលពលពតចូលកាន់អំណាចជាភ័ព្វសំណាងរបស់លោកពូនៅពេលដែលលោកពូគេហៅថាឈឺធ្ងន់ធ្ងរមែនទែនពលអាហារប៉ុន្តែដោយសារមិត្តភ័ក្តិសំណាងហ្នឹងបានជួបបានដឹងបានឮគាត់បានជួយសង្គ្រោះជីវិតរបស់លោកពូវិញនេះបានសបញ្ជាក់ថាអំពើដែលលោកពូបានធ្វើជាមួយមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់គាត់សំណាងហ្នឹងនៅពេលដែលយើងមិនដឹងថាគាត់លោកពូមិនចង់បានអីមកវិញអ្វីដែលលោកពូការធ្វើពីអត់តបាយអាពតហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែវាចែកដល់នេះសំណាងល្អគាត់បានជួបមិត្តភ័ក្តិសំណាងរបស់គាត់ហ្នឹងហើយគាត់អាចរស់រានមានជីវិតដោយសារឆ្លងផុតពីជំងឺពុលអាហារហ្នឹងដោយសារមិត្តភ័ក្តិសំណាងរបស់គាត់យកទៅពេទ្យកម្មាភិបាលខ្មែរក្រហមមិនធម្មតាគេមានថ្នាំចាក់អីត្រឹមត្រូវវាអត់ដូចយើងលេបអញសាយជាមួយទឹកដូងឬក៏អីទេបាទ ចឹងអាចជួយសង្គ្រោះជីវិតលោកពូបាននេះសបញ្ជាក់ថាសុភាសិតរបស់ខ្មែរយើងបានពោលថាមិត្តល្អជួយគ្នាក្នុងគ្រាក្រមិត្តល្អជួយគ្នាក្នុងគ្រាកំសត់បាទខ្ញុំចង់បន្ថែមចំណុចសំខាន់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងលោកពូអរគុណច្រើនOkay Mekila the floor is yours
Yes. My question is, was malaria mentioned at all in the hospital or even in your travels at all, everything that you experienced, or was that something that wasn't really spoken of?
No, yeah, malaria is spread out the whole country, and especially my region. My region is the place that I live. During that time is in a rubber plantation. The condition is wet, and never dry, because when it's raining, it never dry. It's always wet and a lot of mosquitoes. Friends, I mean, it's the same group, they catch malarias, but I happen to just catch, the poison or the rubber's poison, the smell, and malarias, they do have medicine, they give, not give it, that I remember is a yellow color, small, even then, our whole team take that medicine, I
Okay.
remember we had to take like 15 days or something like that, because our team is very important at that time when we work when we work in the rubber plantation.
Yeah.
That area is only preserved for the Khmer Rouge only to work, because the food ration is much better. We eat cooked rice, every day, but except that the condition, the work condition is harsh, and the Khmer Rouge themselves doesn't want to work, so they recruit, they ask hope for mobile team to come, and they select our team. They select Team Prekot and also a couple more team to come, because our team, it died the less, only 2 people died during that time. So we still have 10 people, and most of the team died half already, so yeah. There's a lot of malarias. So Gloria,
I have one more question if there's time.
Okay.
On page 102, at the end of the chapter, you mention how the city dwellers were presumed to be seeds of the counter-revolution. I wanted you to maybe expand on that.
Okay. The city dweller, it means the people from live in the city, and they evacuate them to work in the remote countryside. So Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot look at them as a capitalist, is enemy of communists. Okay, so they treat them accordingly, not the same as older village, or they call Mulatan, the village that had been liberated before 1975. They consider them as modern or model village, because they listen, they've been taught or they've been trained before us, and we consider as enemy of Angkor. So that's why they consider as a group of people who could do the counter-revolution to overthrow them. That's why they trying to eliminate as much as they can. Is that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead. Gloria, you have some more question? Now we go back to you.
Yes, I was wondering, during this time, was it possible for someone who might be desperate, would they be able to decide to become a Khmer Rouge cadre, or would it already be pretty much established?
Pretty much established because before the 75, yes, you may be able to, they might be able to recruit you, but after 75, they is established. But however, but if you young, like 10 years old, 9, 10, 11 years old, and if they see you as very, like, hardworking, and, they might want you to be a part of they call Khmer Yotir. You don't hold gun anything yet, but they train you in the camps, to be, a Khmer Rouge at a later stage, but for us city dweller, no, you have no, they don't recruit you. The most you can do is gong chalat, and they work you like to the bone. That's about it. Yeah.
Thank
At
you.
least, at least in my region, but I assume that all over the country,
Thank you. Well, Mr. Patrick Gao, you should your name should have been Mr. Samnan Gao, actually.
Some non-cow.
Yeah. Yes. And my question is that you're going through a lot of eatable. The food that you're going through is very harsh, and I just want to know that when you have the opportunity to go back to the country, what is one of the food that you have the courage to eat again? Because mine was that I didn't really like at first was the fried cricket, but yet I bet that's one of my favorite actually because it tastes like potato chip. I told people that, but they still don't believe me. But yeah, it's like a potato chip.
No, I don't. When I go back, I don't eat any of that. I eat though. I like porridge though. I like babo. I like it. I like eat babo with treco. I like that. And oh yes, I become developing a taste for cassava, tapioca root, steam cassava root, and chech ang, banana grills. I developed a taste for that because during the Khmer Rouge, I eat a lot of cassava root and chech ang, dot, you know, long dot. So I developed those kind of tastes when I go back. I always, when I see like old lady or young girl who have they sell their food, in the basket, and they walk around and they sell that. When I saw that, I buy the whole thing, and then I bring that to Ciclo, Peller, or mall, or whoever nearby, we eat together. I buy to take the load of the girl or the boy whoever I happen to meet, let's say they sell jig ang like a whole like that. It cost me only like say $10. I say I buy the whole thing. You cook it, and then I just gather people. Just say, hey, come in and take whatever you need. I like things like that. When I go back. Yeah. So it's fun. I feel it's fun, and people enjoyed it. They like it. So. Kerry, question?
No, we don't have any.
No? Okay, Michaela, you have some more?
That was it for right now. I really enjoyed this chapter. I actually read it twice.
Yeah, it's a good chapter. This is in the heart of the Khmer Rouge right here. One more chapter though, chapter 13 also good too. That is, the last chant of Khmer Rouge. Sangha, you have any others?
But okay, let me ask you in Khmer.
Okay.
លោកពូតើអ្វីដែលលោកពូញ៉ាំអត់គ្រប់គ្រាន់ខ្វះវីតាមីន ញ៉ាំរបស់ដែលយើងមើលទៅវាអត់សូវមានអនាម័យមានសុខភាពតើពេលលពូអញ្ជើញមករស់នៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកហ្នឹងវាបណ្ដាលឲ្យប៉ះពាល់ដល់សុខភាពយើងបន្តរហូតដល់ឥឡូវឬក៏លពូមានវិធីណាដើម្បី maintain សុខភាពហ្នឹងល្អធម្មតាប្រសើរឡើងវិញនៅពេលដែលមករស់នៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិក
Oh, when I came to America បើនិយាយខ្មែរអ្នកស្ដាប់ទាំងអស់គ្នាស្ដាប់បានខ្មែរអត់តែមួយខេឡាមួយទេណា Okay. Yes, when I came to America, I have no problem. ខ្ញុំមកដល់ស្រុកខ្មែរខ្ញុំ have no problem because កាលពីខ្ញុំជួទៅធ្វើការនៅឯ Bangkok Embassy ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំគេយកខ្ញុំទៅ cleanគេហៅ detox you know embassy required to have us you know all you know you have worm and stuff like that you know they taking care of in Thailand and Bangkok you know detox most of the I believe most of the Khmer ជនភៀសខ្លួនទាំងអស់មុននឹងមកសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកគេគឺពិនិត្យសុខភាពគេមានពេទ្យថៃគេទៅពិនិត្យសុខភាពរបស់យើងគេឆែកឈើមើលរបស់យើងចាក់ឈាមចាក់អីណាត្រូវការព្យាបាលមុននឹងមកដល់ហ្នឹងគេព្យាបាលហើយគេបញ្ជូនទៅហ្វីលីពីនមុននេះអញ្ចឹងទៅគេព្យាបាលអញ្ចឹងហើយម្យ៉ាងទៀតគេឲ្យយើងស៊ាំមុននឹងមកដល់អាមេរិកនេះនៅតែមានអញ្ចឹងនៅតែមានអ្នកខ្លះ you know គ្នាត្រូវមកហើយ you know ប៉ុន្តែគេ try the best way to cure to ព្យាបាលនៅថៃឬក៏នៅហ្វីលីពីនអញ្ចឹងឯងព្រោះគេមានតាមានអ្នកធ្លាក់តែខាង medical នឹងដែរតាប៉ុន្តែគេមិនធ្លាក់ទេគេមិនឲ្យយើងមកយើងនៅគេទៅព្យាបាលយើងទៅอะไรគេហៅរោគចម្លងណារោគចម្លងអត់មានរហូតមានតែដូចថាយើងជាជំងឺរ៉ាំរ៉ៃអីដែលអត់ឆ្លងណាគេនៅតែយកមកអញ្ចឹងគេយកមកព្យាបាលនៅតែម្ដងគេមាននៅសហរដ្ឋអាមេរិកនេះខ្ញុំអត់ដែរធ្លាប់ទេណាប៉ុន្តែគាត់ទៅធ្លាប់ទៅជួយគេឲ្យ medical យើង you know ជាចាស់គេឲ្យ medical យើងទៅ you know ទៅព្យាបាល you know ទៅព្យាបាលទៅជាទូមិនជាក៏យើងអាចរស់មើលបានដូចគេដូចឯងអញ្ចឹងណា
Okay, Lapu, my next question is not really related to the chapter, but I would like to take the opportunity to ask you this question while we are waiting for other readers come up with any question. Lapu, I learned that during the Khmer rules, they conducted a lot of arranged marriage. So could Lapu share with us how often Khmer rules conducted the arranged marriage ceremony? And in connection with this, what about you? You already assigned by Khmer rules to marry to with other lady, or you can
yeah,
you can escape.
Yeah, there is you know, but in terms of me, no. The reason is that at the time they consider me too young to get married. You know, because I only like 20, 21. You know, it's a rumor they match me with somebody, but I try to stay away. You know, a lot of them. At the ceremony time, I kind of know, you know, they match, they call it not, well, I would say force married, but when you a little bit older, you know, like 25, 20, you know, 6, 27, like that, you know, they want to have a lot more population, right? Because I was young, and plus, because I was prime, I have a water buffalo. Anka doesn't want me to give up that. When you married, most likely they have you to work in the like in the farm, like a stung trai, not water buffalo. Water buffalo for the young, strong guy who know how to plow, how to do the earth, the work the earth, and I'm very good at it. My water buffalo is so big, so yeah, I'm fortunate. I try to stay away as possible. I don't want to, and plus the Anka also not pick on me. They just leave me alone. And there is a force, there is a force married. But my region, for somehow, if you somehow you kind of have a heart for each other's, and you tell Anka, you tell whoever the head of ceremony, you tell them like ahead of time, they match you up. They not, but if you don't tell them, then they just match you, right? Whatever available. But if you happen to tell them, both of you, let's say you kind of have a heart at each other because you cannot avoid anyway, they for some reason that region is, in a way, they kind of like, they even allow, I recall after Anka married them, right? And then when they happen to come home to the village, they be able to do like a secret ceremony, so they let them do it. I was surprised, because the reason I was surprised is that on my way to the village from my water buffalo, now they assigned me to plow in the field in the close by the village. So I'm gonna stay in the village a few days. So when they do the ceremony, they happen to have food, and then they invite me to like share food with them, because in the Karatan, in the camps, in a lot of time when I plow, I catch a lot of crab and also fish, and it's just too much. I cannot take care of it. I give it. I share them. Secretly those. I don't give to anybody that I don't know. I secretly give the person that I like. Okay, you get one, or you get two, or whatever. Because all I need at one time, I just need one. That's all. I cannot have more than one, because I don't want to get. I don't risk to get caught. You have too many, you might get caught. So yeah. Oh yeah, there's a forced marriage. But my village, my region, and that, for some reason, I know a couple of them, they happy, they married happy until this day. I even meet them, when I go to Phnom Penh, I meet one couple, they still married, and they do well, and they have like a couple of kids, so yeah, I'm good lucky. I don't know what to do, man. I don't want a wife, 20 years old, I don't want nothing to do with that, I have a chance after the Khmer rules, but I just don't. No, I don't want to involve, because I knew that it's not me. It's not my thing, Cambodian, it's not in me anymore. I kind of lose, at one time you lose the nationalism, put it this way, you know, you know, no good.
I have one more question, and also I recently accidentally grabbed a book on arranged marriages
Yes.
in the Khmer Rouge.
Yes.
And two of the things that had stood out to me the most when I was reading the book about it was that there was sometimes like 200 different people married at one time. And then, as you were mentioning, when you were saying that people would convince the Khmer Rouge to arrange their marriages,
Yeah.
a lot of people in the book were mentioning that some of the reasons why they did that is just to be able to have a little bit of rice.
Uh, it could be a reason, you know, because I know, especially on my division, my region, and my village and the district, you know, in terms of 200 people at one time, I have not come across. They continue do like normally like they prefer 10, 10 or 12, and then maybe like this week 10, and then maybe a couple more week another 10, like that. I never see 100, but it no in terms of more ration, when they know that the lady pregnant, yeah, they do give slightly more ration for that. But when
Oh,
yeah, but when you like just married, and because even you married, you only like meet each other's and then you go to work at a different camps, and then you had to be able to communicate to each other if you wanted to meet again, right? So if you don't like each other, some people they can just stay away from each other, you know
interesting.
it but they just want to be sure that you, I guess, you consummated or whatnot, and then they do have a way to do that, um and yeah, I could, at only when I, in my district, I witnessed only when pregnant, the girl pregnant. I knew that, yeah, they get more, and they have like a husband also working around the place where she worked, and the camp that she you know live and work. They have them around. But on my, especially on my camps, those guys who married, they build a hut for them, very nice hut, very
Wow.
nice, very nice strong hut, uh, and brand new. I anticipate hoping to build, because I'm skilled at building hut. Even though I'm a water buffaloes guy, but I'm good at it. Yeah, I build in the on edge side of the mountain. So they kind of little bit kind of have their own privacy. They have them like that.
Wow. So
It's
pregnancies were encouraged?
uh yeah, the reason they want you to marry it because they want to have more
I
population.
see. I
At the
see.
time, that's how I understood it. At the time, the reason they want him is not married because they want you to marry it, because they want more population. Because when they choose you to be married, um, they select very selective. They select the people who they feel that a part of revolution, 讲 part of what you 睇下 you ជំរុះ all the L before, guy computer L, to use what you have before. Like me, when I cut my fingers, I want to cry, but I can't cry, because crying show a sign of weakness. You have not dropped, or you have not clean up, and then I would be marked as weak, and all that, so at the time you do whatever you do, even if you fake it, to make sure that you survive, you part of them. And especially during that chapters, when I met the Supa, my classmate, you know um, even though I go help her build her place, because I built her place, and another friend of mine also, two of them, one place. I built it for them. We even though we knew each other's well, but we good at it. We act like never knows each other's, you know, because we talk, we say, now this is very risky. Okay, we never mention nothing about our schooling. You know, you as acting as much as possible that you never like me, even though I'm hoping you building you high. You know, and we never share. I have a lot of food and stuff like that. Never share food, never give anything, because you don't want to give the impression, yeah, because they watch you every single step, So, yeah, it's a good question on the forced marriage things. Yeah, I'm get lucky. I'm a lucky guy. I'm stay away with that. And they believe me. When I told them, but actually they try to, but I say, maybe I'm not refuse anything. I just say maybe at the later, I'm still young yet, at the later, and they let me alone. So, okay, Gloria, look like you have a question.
Well, it's not relating to the chapter, but I was wondering, because I did read a while back that a lot of people, or at least the book said that a lot of people were recruited because of propaganda that the Khmer Rouge would use regarding the US bombings of the countryside. Do you, I don't know if you know, because you were pretty young at the time, but did you hear any of that propaganda before 1975, or is
Yes.
that,
Yeah, I've
you heard a lot of that?
I've been at the bombing, they bomb where I live. I was, the bombing, I was like 12 years old already.
Oh.
I was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, 14, still bombing in 73.
And was that effective, the propaganda? Do you think they recruited a lot of people because of that propaganda?
I think so. This is the reason. When I saw it because they also play movie. Yeah, movie. They have a movie also show on in the city, like a lot of fire, a lot of house burn, and it on my book also I talk about that earlier chapters, that's one of the major contribution to the rise of the Khmer Rouge, because at the time it creating when it's a bombing from 69, especially to 69 to 73, actually from 65, but 69 and 73, that's a period that what you call it, Khmer Rouge get the most members, because people feel anger, toward America. So they go whatever they can, and then let's say the older people or younger, they run to escape Picklun, escape to the city, and the younger guy go join the Khmer Rouge, they did not get killed. And at the same time, in the 1970, there is a event that pushed that, much further recruitment of the Khmer Rouge, or the coup d'etat Sihanouk. And during that time, 1970, right? And then the 3 more years, that American bomb. The combination of the two that creating this rise of the Khmer Rouge, And my book in chapter 6 and chapter 5 and 6 address that. That is, yes. Actually, yes, it's not a propaganda. I think it's a real event,
Yeah.
because the United States, they decided, to do that, and that time it's called carpet bombing, not target bombing. It's a carpet bombing. It means half of the country bomb, And you saw it. You see in chapter 6, you see the map, my map. I have the red half of the country red, you know, because when you have ebook, the picture much more pronounced, much more clear, you know, and you will see it. I think it chapters 6, yeah, 6, 5, 6, 7.
Page 51.
Page 51. Oh yeah,
Page
you
51.
yeah, yes, yeah, it you know, that I talk a little bit, not in detail, but that a major contribution, you know, two reasons, you know, why there's a rise of the Khmer Rouge. Yes, that one. And I was lucky to be able to find that map, and I happened to get the permission. Why? Because that map is in the Wikipedia. Because I don't want to get problem, you know. But I was allowed to take it, you know, because then they told me that that picture they call a public image. So the image that used as a public, you know, so that I can use it as an information, because I'm not selling the pictures. I just used to clarify information that what I'm saying is what it is. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
any question? Oh, okay, you
yes.
have.
Yes. Well, I just want to know that you know that you were talking about that bourgeoisie, the group of the higher class, and I just want to know, can you explain a little bit about that word, and also how do the Pol Pot use, what type of criteria that they belong in that group?
Bourgeoisie, yeah, because he also bourgeoisie, because he used to live in the royal palace, Pol Pot. Bourgeoisie, in a layman term, is a middle class type of people. You know, you don't have to be very rich. You know, as long as you have, you know, good standard living, be able to send your kid to school, you know, or have enough food to eat, have a motorcycle, or no, you know, or car, you know, like that, then you are a bourgeoisie. You know, the way you speak properly. You have, you know, live in a city, mostly bourgeoisie, you know, middle class. They live in a city, you know, businessman, businesswoman, you know, and also a civil servant in a high rank in the society. Then they call you bourgeoisie, you know.
Thank you.
So, and that girl, so my classmate, she definitely bourgeoisie, and she's very pretty, you know. She's very pretty, you know.
Yeah. Any other question?
Any other question? Okay,
please go ahead.
Maybe not so related to chapter, but with the effect of the Khmer Rouge, do people still believe and trust their own government in the home country?
Trust government in home country?
I
don't know. I don't know. You know, most people, put it this way, most people outside the country, a majority of them, you know, I feel that they dog in the current government, you know. But half of the country, you know, in Cambodia, they love him, they love the government. But saying that, this is what I find out. Most, even though they don't like the current government, most people especially in United States, Australia, like that, for some reason, they not be able to pinpoint why they don't like the government. They always talk what you call it, just talk, doesn't have the proof, doesn't have the, you know, doesn't have the credibility. You know, when you don't like something, you should be able to articulate and tell people the reason you don't like is this, because current government, they always have the explanation of what they do, you know. And if you open your heart to be fair, I'm not about anybody. I knew enough not to go side, but they have it. They have their own thing, their own agenda or their own fairness, you know, and they feel strongly that what they did is fair. Whatever more than fair from what I've heard from them, you know, and from you know, the Kanapa Pachang that keep trying to, they seem to be unreasonable. They seem to be in emotion. They use emotion more than facts. So that's why they're not be able to achieve what they wanted to achieve, because they know they don't have the credibility, you know. And the current government, for somehow you have to prove them that they do badly, you know. They even tell themselves that they're much better than they call it human right, America human right. They much better than America in terms of human right, you know. And Sen, he might have a point, because I point out a few occasions in my book, you know, that could be, and he probably learned that from America. You know, Kerry, you
Okay.
that, you know, I don't know, it's just politic thing, you know.
Okay.
But to be fair, you opened it, you know, Hun Sen or the current government, they have the thing, you know, you haven't proved us wrong yet. So far, they always be able to defend it themselves, you know. Even the United States, US Embassy couldn't have rebust, you know, what the current government had done to the country, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Let me point out
Okay.
one thing that I think is important, you know. We all over here, we always thinking that the Peace Accord 1991, 23 $, is the main things, yeah, you know. And we always accuse Hun Sen, current government, of violation of that, you know. But they never mention how America or how the Western country violated that peace agreement also, you know. They never mentioned it. When they do that, it's fair game. You know, you want to say that the current government is not, I guess, follow the rule of law and human right like that, and you have to respect human right on your side also. But if you don't, then it's fair game. And they do. They did not. And I can point out a few that they did not. And he done great. One of the great things that he's done, even though people feel that, you know, that's he don't do that. Yeah, like he clever enough to get the Khmer to drop down the weapon and to join his army, you know. Now, from our side over here, when we look at that and say, that's nothing, because that's, you know, like, that's his friend, you know. But nobody be able to do it, you know. The United Nations spent $2 billion, cannot do it. Any country cannot do it, but he did it. And you have to be fair. You have to be fair and give credit what the credits do. And he did it, you know, even though it's his, you know, his former group, but he did it, you know.
Okay.
I'm just wanted to lay that out.
You know? Okay. Thank you, Kerry, for bringing up a good question. Thank you, Lepu, for your response to the question. Before we end our program, Lepu, could you just give us a few bullet points from the chapter 12, what we can take away from this chapter?
Okay. I think a couple issue that I wanted to bring that up. Even though my book, we have a tendency to but I try to be fair as possible. Yes, Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot, they have the agenda to eliminate the people from the city. That's no question. But at the same time, certain Khmer Rouge, specifically, in the chapters, yes, they also, they have the heart to help when they see it, and in these chapters, 2 people, if without that 2 people, and when those Samnang bring me in, without that superior, the nurse, I probably dead. Is she not stubborn enough to keep pumping? I mean, help me, breathing. I probably couldn't make it to the So that is the issue that I wanted to bring that up. That even though you in the worst situation, just keep hopes up that something good will happen, and to show that go out of your hand. If you see somebody that need help, it, go out of your way to help, as much as you can. It didn't, and you never know. Like in my case, in a later chapter, you will see, something, little thing happen here and there because of little thing that happened along my journey. For some reason, I think I was brought up first in Buddhism. You probably in earlier chapters, and I also convert myself to Christianity. And that's where I learn a lot more during my learning English. Even those at the time I go for a candy, they give candy and like that, and also learn English. But they give candy to the kids who go who learn, But I didn't know that whatever I learn is in my heart, it's in me, and it's come out without knowing it. So that's a couple of points that I wanted to point that out. And plus, the chapters, you read it, already, what a Khmer is all about. But I just wanted to put on the humanity side that, no matter where you went, even though at the hopeless place, whatever you have done, hoping out, and it will
lasting
come back.
impact on your life.
Yes, it will come back, and I truly believe in that. And that's why right now I'm at a stage, I do whatever I can to help. If I can get more, I will help more. Whatever I get, I will help. I don't need any more on terms of myself or my family. My daughter, she's well on her way already. And I'm on a verge of retirement. I don't need, I don't need much more than food and shelter. And whatever left over, I will help out the needy. And then
could you summarize a little bit in Khmer, or you want me to translate it into Khmer?
Yeah, maybe you talk better Khmer than I do. Maybe go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, let me try my best to translate what Lupu Patrick mentioned for what we can take away from this chapter 12. បាទអញ្ចឹងចុះសម្រាប់ចុងក្រោយមុននឹងបញ្ចប់កម្មវិធីរបស់យើងហ្នឹងខ្ញុំបានសួរលោកពូ Patrick កែវដែលគាត់ជាអ្នកនិពន្ធសៀវភៅ Khmer Rai ឬក៏ How I Escaped Genocide ហ្នឹងសួរថាតើយើងអាចរៀនបានចំណុចអីសំខាន់ខ្លះចេញពីជំពូកទី12នៃសៀវភៅ Khmer Rai ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងលោកពូបានលើកយកចំណុចពិសេសមួយចំនួនហើយចំណុចដែលសំខាន់បំផុតហ្នឹងលោកពូបានមានប្រសាសន៍ថាទោះបីជាយើងស្ថិតនៅក្នុង កលៈទេសៈលំបាកយ៉ាងណាក៏ដោយបើយើងប្រៀបធៀបពីសម័យខ្មែរក្រហមសម័យបល្ល័យពូជសាសន៍ហ្នឹងគេហៅថានរុ9ជាន់បាទទោះបីជាយើងស្ថិតនៅក្នុងនរុ9ជាន់ក៏ដោយយើងត្រូវតែមានសង្ឃឹមយើងមិនត្រូវអស់សង្ឃឹមទេបាទយើងត្រូវតែមានសង្ឃឹមហើយយើងត្រូវតែគិតថាថ្ងៃណាមួយយើងនឹងឆ្លងផុតពីអនុរុ9ជាន់ហ្នឹងហើយថ្ងៃណាមួយយើងនឹងទទួលបាននៅពន្លឺថ្មីសម្រាប់ជីវិតហើយចំណុចមួយទៀតដែលលោកពូបានបញ្ជាក់ដែរគឺជាចំណុចសំខាន់ដែរគឺយើងត្រូវតែមានទឹកចិត្តក្នុងការគេថាចេះស្រឡាញ់គ្នាចេះជួយគ្នាទោះបីជាក្នុងកលៈទេសៈឬក៏ក្នុងពេលណាក៏ដោយដោយអ្វីដែលសុភាសិតខ្មែរដែលខ្ញុំបានលើកឡើងមុននោះគេថាយើងត្រូវចេះជួយគ្នាក្នុងគ្រាលំបាកយើងត្រូវចេះជួយគ្នាក្នុងគ្រាដែលស្ថិតនៅក្នុងភាពអាសន្នបាទហើយលោកពូគាត់បានបញ្ជាក់ចុងក្រោយថែមទៀតថាលោកពូពីដើមហ្នឹងលោកពូមានជំនឿជឿទៅលើខាងពុទ្ធសាសនាលោកបានស្វែងយល់ច្រើនពីតកតងរឿងពុទ្ធសាសនាអ្វីដែលពិសេសហ្នឹងគឺការធ្វើអំពើល្អប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលក្រោយមកពេលដែលលោកពូបានឆ្លងកាត់មកលោកពូបានមានជំនឿទៅលើមួយទៀតលោកពូបានថាផ្លាស់ប្ដូរជំនឿលោកពូបានមកជឿខាងគេហៅថាព្រះយេស៊ូវនៅពេលដែលលោកពូធ្វើការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរមកជំនឿខាងព្រះយេស៊ូវលោកពូបានស្វែងយល់កាន់តែច្រើនថែមទៀតតកតងទៅនឹងគេហៅថាអ្វីដែលជាអំពើល្អដែលយើងគួរតែចេះជួយគ្នាហើយយើងមិនត្រឹមតែជួយគ្នាយើងធ្វើអ្វីដើម្បីដល់បម្រើដល់សង្គមជាតិទៀតផងបាទអញ្ចឹងបានចុងក្រោយនេះលោកពូគាត់ថាគាត់គ្មានចង់បានអ្វីទេអ្វីដែលលោកពូខំប្រឹងហ្នឹងជាពិសេសសភៅដែលលោកពូបាននិពន្ធផ្សព្វផ្សាយនេះគឺលោកពូផ្ដល់គាត់ណាបង្កើតជា legacy ជាគេមរតកជាគេដំណើរមួយសម្រាប់លោកពូគ្រួសារលោកពូហើយរាល់ចំណូលដែលបានហ្នឹងគឺលោកពូមិនបានយកដាក់នៅក្នុងកប៉ៅទេគឺលោកពូដាក់ចូលក្នុងមូលនិធិរបស់លោកពូដើម្បីយកមូលនិធិនេះទៅជួយនៅអ្នកដែលមានការខ្វះខាតក្រខ្សត់ឬក៏លំបាកនៅស្រុកខ្មែរជាពិសេសអ្នកដែលនៅតាមជនបទហើយអ្វីដែលមហិច្ឆតារបស់លោកពូអានេះខ្ញុំសូមបន្ថែមចុះមហិច្ឆតារបស់លោកពូខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយម្ដងទៀតលោកពូចង់មានគេហៅថាធ្វើម៉េចលក់សភៅនោះឲ្យបាន1លានក្បាលដើម្បីមានលទ្ធភាពធ្វើនៅគេហៅថាអំពើល្អជួយដល់សង្គមជាតិជួយដល់មនុស្សហ្នឹងឲ្យបានច្រើនថែមទៀតនៅពេលដែលបាន1លានក្បាលមែនលោកពូនឹងជួយផ្ដោតសំខាន់ទៅលើសិស្សឬក៏និស្សិតស្រីដែលគាត់មានទឹកចិត្តចង់រៀនប៉ុន្តែគាត់មានការខ្វះខាតលោកនឹងផ្ដល់ជាអាហារូបករណ៍ផ្ដល់ជាកន្លែងស្នាក់នៅផ្ដល់ការហូបចុកធានារ៉ាប់រងទាំងអស់ដើម្បីធ្វើម៉េចឲ្យគាត់បានបន្តការសិក្សាសម្រាប់នៅសេចក្តីសុបិនរបស់គាត់ដើម្បីទទួលយកចំណេះដឹងហ្នឹងទៅកសាងជីវិតរៀងៗខ្លួនបាទអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំបន្ថែមបន្ថយតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងលោកពូមានអីខ្វះខាតអីសូមអធិស្ឋាន
Wow, it's much better than I can say, man. Thank you. That is the thing. It's not just that not really a legacy or anything like that. It's just that my heart it go that way. It's just that I feel that I don't really need it. I know when I die, I'm gone on this earth. And without at least I have few people, or at least have this Facebook page still hanging someplace. It did not take it down, then people can see, what
we're gonna upload into YouTube.
Yeah, and I know COVID thinking of some rang. I mean, retrieve a good information in a way, to have a sequence on that, and not a bad idea. I'm feel like when I see all these young guys do YouTube and they get like monetary and stuff like that, I wanted to do that. I'm pretty sure I can be good at it, but I just don't have the energy, but like COVID, you want it, and you need my help once in a while to put in a contact so that encourage people. Just count on me, let me know, what I can do, but not daily. I just overwhelming. But I admire those young kids. They be able to do a lot of good stuff with the YouTube. things. I think it could be great. Tell you the story. The first YouTube I did is my daughter's golf. It's still, you want to go see Monica, MONICA golf. You will see two section in there. That's where she get the scholarship from. The coach, they not even they go to see her already, but the caption, the 5 minute that I did, all the highlight put in there, and the way she speak a little bit of herself and her game she play, and I captured all the good stuff. That's how she got it. and it worked, man. It worked. And this is you talking about like 10 years ago. It
Okay.
worked. You
Yeah.
want to see her game, you go use that. Just type in Monica Golf on YouTube. Boom, you will see two segment.
Well, Mr. Samnang, thank
Oh,
you.
yes.
That's it.
That yellow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we see that. And she was like 16 years old at the time, 15, 16.
Yes,
and
yes.
and look at the way she hit the ball, the driver. She hit it 260. I only can do 230. She does 260. And most LPGA can do only 240, 250. And she's only 16 years old. She drive 260, average. Average,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to say one last thing before we
Okay.
leave. I just want to say that, you've been traveling a dark journey, but yet, thank you for giving the time to shed the light onto the new generation that how dark it is, our history, but yet the new generation going to see this and take it as a history, but not in that. In order to know our future, we have to know our history. This is where we're coming from. And I appreciate and honor for your time, Mr. Samnang. I'm going to call you that.
Yeah, my pleasure,
that's all
man.
you are. Thank you.
I just glad that I be able to do this. Actually, this is come about, I think, to Songha, but another lady, but for somehow she not, she's not part of this anymore. And she's the one. She's the one. We only, for some reason, I would chat with her. It's only like a couple of sentences, and all of a sudden we just boom, oh, we wanted to do that, and happened to somehow have this platform that he did. Boom, got it, got in, and then all of a sudden everybody kind of hooked on that, and I see that's so cool. That's how you do it. Even though right now you don't see the fruit of our effort, I'm pretty sure, I'm kind of, believe that it will happen. Maybe not a million copy, but it will happen.
Yeah, well, we all here. Thank you, everyone. We plant the seed, and the seed not gonna grow overnight. It's gonna take some time, but yet you are the light in this seed, and you are the water in this seed. Because my generation, I'm a Khmer down kid, and I learned a lot from you. And yet, I'm sure Gloria, she a newer generation than me, and she learned a lot about from you and how her parents going through. And Michaela, thank you for being an honorary Cambodian. And yet,
I like that. I like that honorary Cambodian.
Yeah. And Kerry, I'm sure you learned a lot through Mr. Samnang here to see why your parent, doesn't speak a lot and how your parents going through. So I thank you all in all. I appreciate this time. I'm looking forward every week to reading this book. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Actually, Khmer rice and starving season is like represent the whole family, the whole Cambodian parents to tell their children about the journey, the life journey, especially gone through the genocide. Yeah. Even though some parents they have like a language barrier, they cannot communicate in English, but our platform bringing two authors from two different books to tell the
Yeah.
story to a younger generation about their journey, about the history. Yeah. So thank you
Yes.
everyone. Thank you Lapu Patrika. Thank
Yeah.
you for
អរ
your
គុណអ្នកនរ
time.
គ្នា
And
អរគុណដែល
let
បាន
me
ចូលរួម
yeah, let me say in Khmer
ចូលរួម
សូមអរគុណចំពោះក្រុមអ្នកអានរបស់យើងហើយសូមអរគុណចំពោះលោកពូផាតេកាហើយសូមអរគុណចំពោះអ្នកដែលតាមដានកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងដែលព្យាយាមធ្វើការតាមដានតាំងពីដើមរហូតដល់ចប់នៅពេលនេះហើយរហូតដល់នេះយើងបានបញ្ចប់នៅចំពោះទី12ហើយនៅអាទិត្យក្រោយយើងនឹងបន្តចំពោះរហូតដល់ចប់ស្ពើមតែម្ដងសូមជូនពរឲ្យសុខភាពល្អទាំងអស់គ្នាបាទសូមបងវិជាឆ្ងាយនៅការឆ្លង COVID-19 បាទសឹងហើយជួបគ្នានៅកម្មវិធីថ្ងៃក្រោយទៀតបាទ
សូមអរគុណ
បាទ
Makon, Chervilia.
អេ
ជម្រាបលាបាយបាយ
Bye.